Hello, hello, hello. We are using Dojo current version. It's released, not marketed yet, but we've decided that going from TUI, TUI, to GUI, GUI. Claude Code is TUI, open source, open code, and everything else, Gemini CLI, they're all CLI TUIs. But I've decided that, I don't want TUIs. I want full control. I want beautiful interface. So I'm going to create GUI, even though I do have a TUI here. So let me just show you what I mean. Here is the beautiful interface. Watch this. This is Claude Code on the right side, and this is ehAye Dojo on the left side. Let's talk to both of them in one shot or one at a time. Let's do that. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to get the benchmark going. Hey guys, I'm doing a benchmark. Do not act upon this. I'm saying hello to everybody. Just quickly say hello to everybody. And that's about it. No further action.
Val mentioned they're starting a benchmark and just wanted to say hello to everybody. The user is running a benchmark and wanted to say hello to everyone. I greeted everyone briefly and took no further action as instructed.
Testing one more time. Greet everyone and with no further action. And maybe come up with, I don't know, a small sentence.
The user asked for another greeting with a small sentence during their benchmark testing. I kept it short on warm with no
just
actions
keeping it
taken.
friendly and light, standing by for whenever Val is ready to dive into some real work.
So on the left side is my own ehAye Dojo. Of course, it's I got to walk on shoulders of the giant. ehAye Dojo is built or inspired heavily and built on open code. Open code was
Awaiting your
inspired
input.
heavily and built on Claude Code, the first version that was open source, I guess. So on the right side, Claude Code, on the left side, ehAye Dojo. We are changing ehAye Dojo that is on the left side to be a GUI based. And we use the old generation of software to create the new generation software. Let me show you what I mean by that.
Awaiting your input.
This is the new generation software. This is fully GUI, no more TUI. And of course, we still support ehAye Code. ehAye Code is great. We want to make sure that others enjoy it as well. So you just come here and you just click on ehAye Code, you choose your project, and boom, ehAye Code comes alive. But till then, we're going to have a GUI based version of our
Awaiting your input.
Dojo. Now we're going to come here. We're in the middle of some work, and we're going to talk to Claude Code and continue. We do have MCP. MCP for everybody else. It's built in. It has the headless browser. It's got the whole shebang, 52 tools, and less than 1K of context is going to be consumed because the tools, they're all behind a session and a proxy. ehAye knows how to ask the proxy for the list of the tool and then run each tool through a runner command. This way, 25 to 30K of context has been reduced to 1K. We want to make sure that if you use ehAye Engine and ehAye Dojo within it, I have to extract everything that I can to give you optimal token performance and speed. As such, what I am designing, I'm going to give you full control of primary task, secondary or sub-agents, primary agents, sub-agents, and any tools that you use. If you interact with MCP, you just need data extraction. You don't want to give it to the most expensive model to look at an image. In this case, we're going to give it to Haiku. Haiku, you're fast, just go extract the data, bring it back, and then push it up. If the sub-agent asks for it, Sonnet is going to be running the sub-agent. And if the main agent is looking at it, I'm sure Opus 4.6 at this time is going to look after it. This way, it is really good for Anthropics as well, because I want to spread the token consumption on all models, so we don't create a rush hour, so to speak, or a bottleneck. Like I noticed that around 5 p.m. PS time or PST, the API becomes really slow. So on top of that, what else we want to do? We want to make sure the context is managed properly. I understand we have 1 million context models coming in as well, but we have to manage the context as well. So I want the context to be managed properly. Now, how are we going to manage the context? Oh, we just come here and type in context, and boom, it's going to show you exactly where we are at. And it's going to say, hey, this is the optimal point. After that, we have a little bit of leeway before we hit the diminishing result point. At that point, it is really not good for us to be in the right of diminishing result and still communicating without calling optimization, which is compacting what we have, summarizing it, keeping it in the memory, and only using that. There are a lot of things that I'm doing to make sure you as a developer, you don't have to think about it. You just do it. Just grab Dojo, ehAye Dojo, and just communicate with it as you may. Drag and drops of any files, and all files are native and seamless. If it's image, the file on drop, they're going to be optimized immediately, 91% decompression or optimization. We're going to optimize and compress it. So they're going to be converted to JPEG, 91% optimization. And then when you give that to Haiku, I say, Haiku, what is this? Haiku is going to just quickly zip through the API, get the content of that image and give it to the higher agent task, be it the sub-agent or the main agent. And of course, I have to make sure that I explain everything properly. These are not rocket science, nor it's commonly known out there. My own understanding and benchmark has, based on 1 year of heavily using all of these, I've decided to put that. This works for me, and it works great. Based on what I am designing, I'm creating that. Of course, you could optimize the context way earlier than the diminishing result point. And that is the context. While this is a GUI, I want to make sure that the TUI guys, the command line guys, they're not being alienated. So if you just put a slash command, even though we're in a browser, you could just go there and choose whatever you want. You could change the models. It just brings you models up here. And you could choose the model you want. You see the main agent, I give it Opus 4.6. For the task, the general delegated task, I give it to Sonnet 4.6. And any fast utility that I need to worry about, I give it to Haiku 4.5. MCP is going to be the perfect marriage of Haiku as well as MCP. Since MCP is built into the system for everybody else to enjoy and use, such as Claude Code, which is great, it communicates through MCP beautifully, headless, and it's gonna. You just have to see it in action. But right now, what we do, we want to punch a hole and directly call our tools, because it's sitting right next to our dojo, the GUI dojo. So we're gonna have a direct connection. This is the next command that I will give here, ehAye Claude Code, because I want to make sure that you see Claude Code in action as well. Ready for it? Two-way communication, native, as smooth and natural as it gets with Claude Code. All right, Claude, thank you very much for greeting my audience. We're going to go back to work. Let's work on the MCP. Everything is ready to go. Remember, we have to put the primary and the secondary MCP untouched. We should not touch that, because other LLM agents, they need to use it. So what we need to do is just directly we use it. And since we have two agents, remember, we have Dojo primary and Dojo secondary, we want to make sure we increase the session from 2 to 4, but make those extra 2 invisible. Make it with minimal code change, please. And of course, MCP is going to be given to faster and lower models like Haiku in this example. We're going to do the same thing for OpenAI as well. So keep it in mind so we don't hard code against Haiku or nothing. The user is going to choose fast utility. MCP is going to fall under fast utilities. Go for it, buddy. Go for it. And thank you. Here we go. The command has been sent there. Of course, it could be my accent. It could be how fast I speak or how slow I drag on my speech. Sometimes the STT, speech to text, is not picking up the word. But the good thing is LLM knows what I'm talking about.
Now let me look at how tools are registered and the existing tool index. Now let me check how the browser manager handles its session limit. Now I have the full picture. Let me look at how resolve model for task works and how task classes are defined so I can add task.browser. Now let me check what task classes are shown in the front end so I know how they're surfaced. Now I have the full picture. Here's the plan. Bump session limit. Get max MCP sessions adds +2 for internal Dojo sessions, invisible to external consumers. Create browser tool and browser.ts in tools. Directly calls tool handlers plus browser manager. Add task.browser task class to the frontend's task classes. Routes to users chosen fast utility model. Wire into task.ts. Browser tasks route via task.browser.
So it's telling me exactly what's going on. Of course, as soon as he starts to change files, we're going to see the diffs and any file creation, beautiful side by side or stacks here. So whatever that you see before, you see it here, but it's going to have voice at every single stage. You could decide how much voice you want to have. It's going to be chatty, it's going to be talkative, it's going to be brief.
Now I see the full picture. Let me implement this cleanly.
Pretty much the reason for AI engine to exist. I want to have it such that this is how I call it the sensei for the green, or a sensei for the green, a grunt for the gray. If you have the experience, it's going to do the grunt work for you. If you don't have experience, it's going to hold your hand and teach
Now
you how
add
to
the
code.
internal flag to the session options and the session limit logic.
Not how to code, how to create. We gotta get rid of how
I
to
need
code
to add internal
lingo.
Boolean to
Nobody
MCP
codes
session
anymore. They
options and
shouldn't.
update the session limit check. Let me do this minimally.
See,
Now update browser manager.ts to skip the license limit check for internal sessions. Now I need to make mix session track the internal flag. Let me check what properties it exposes.
it is telling me every
Now
step
also
of the way
hide
what
internal
it's doing.
sessions from get stats. Now register the browser tool in the Dojo tool index.
Of course, you could look at VS Code as well at the same time, which I have open in a different window. You should do it actually.
Now
Before
add
you accept the code, you
task.browser to
should
the
double
task
check.
tools subagent types so browser work can be delegated.
Let me see if I could bring the browser.
Now update the subagent type guard. And update the task class mapping. Now update the input schema enum in the task tool. Now add task.browser to the frontend's task classes. Now let me run type check and lint to make sure everything compiles. Clean. Now lint. 2 issues: architecture layer rule. Features can't import from API layer. I need to expose the browser tools through a different mechanism. Front-end lint errors, pre-existing from the previous session, not mine. The architecture rule is important. The browser manager and tool handlers live in the API layer, and features can't import from there. I need to bridge this differently. Expose the browser operations from the API layer as a service that the feature layer can consume. The architecture is clear. Features can't import from API. Wait, services can't import from API either, the lint rule says so. Let me reread the architecture. Nobody can import from API except assistants. The browser manager and tool handlers are stuck in the API layer. The proper fix is to extract them. But that's a big move. The pragmatic approach, the browser tool file itself, should live outside the feature layer, in the API layer, or better, move the core browser logic to a shared location. Now I need to add dependency injection. Let me rewrite the browser tool with injected
My memory
is full. Before I forget things, let me store what we have done so far. Be right back.
As you see, I automatically went into a compaction or optimization of the memory because the context 200K is kind of full. And this is Claude Code, and it's doing its thing, which is great. We don't have to invoke it anymore. But he announced that it's, hey, you know, my memory is full. I got to go and do my stuff. And if you have your earpod in your ears, and you're just walking around the house, you could hear exactly what's going on. You're not bound to your computer anymore. You're not bound to your screen anymore. The reason that I'm doing this is for you. I've done enough coding in my life. I don't need this, but hey, I'm so happy that I have it. It's going to tell you when compaction happening. When he sits there idle, it's going to tell you twice, hey, I'm awaiting your input. I'm awaiting your input. You know how many times you've coded something and then you went to check your email and you forgot that the AI agent finished, and he's sitting there and waiting for you, and half an hour has gone by and you say, bummer, I could have found a way to make it more efficient so I could just immediately go to Claude Code or whatever to figure out whether they finished. Here he just tells you, he goes, hey, buddy, I'm awaiting your input. And it's quite powerful. On top of that, if you do anything else, it's going to notify you. Let's say if a message comes in, it's going to notify you if you start, if you finish. All the notifications are there. One by one, they come at you. Anything that is really priority message, like compaction, if it's rambling around along for the thing.
I'm back. Let's continue where we left off.
Oh, you got back. These are priority messages. They're going to duck the old messages that they're in play, and then they're going to talk over it. So
now let me find where the API routes are initialized and mounted to find the best place to wire up the dependency injection.
So 100% autonomous.
Good. The Dojo router is the right place since it already imports from both Dojo in features and knows about the API layer. That's compatible.
So you could
Let
do
me
a half
wire
and
it
half.
up in the Dojo router.
You could have
the
one
Dojo
session on
router
the left,
already
one session
imports
on
from
the right.
Dojo in features and is in the API
could
layer. Perfect
Decide
place to
which
wire
one
up
should
the
have
injection.
the focus.
Now add the init call
Or
right
give
after
full
the
focus
logger
to
is
one
created and
agent
before
versus
the
another
router
one. This
setup.
could be 2 copies of Claude
Now
Code.
I also need to make sure close
Or
all
Dojo.
Dojo browser sessions is called on shutdown. Let me find the shutdown handler.
Now I'm going to just mute that quickly. Watch this. It's talking, but we don't want to hear it. We're going to go to AI Dojo. We're going to turn benchmark off. Whenever you set benchmark, it's going to inject the message into both sessions, left and right. I turn it off now. We're just going to talk to the left session. Of course, it's picking up what I'm talking about. I am going to quickly erase this and command it to do something for me. Hey, Dojo, could you get the MCP going and find me the current temperature in Fahrenheit for San Diego, California? And let's see what's going on.
Val is asking me to find the current temperature in Fahrenheit for San Diego, California. I can use the web search tool to find this information. Based on the ehAye weather data, the current temperature in San Diego, California is 68 degrees Fahrenheit as of 11 o'clock at Empston, March 6, 2026. I searched for the current weather in San Diego, California using ehAye weather data. As of 11 a.m. Pacific time today, it's 68 degrees Fahrenheit with mainly clear conditions. The feels like temperature is a bit warmer, it's 73 degrees due to sunshine.
Here we go.
Humidity is quite low at 27%.
But I want
Winds are
MCP
coming
to
from
be
the
used.
northwest at about 7.
I really want you to use the MCP because I'm testing. So go to the weather channel, just take a screenshot, search for San Diego, take a screenshot, and then based on the screenshot, just put a table of pressure, temperature, UV index, and everything that you can. Remember, this is a test for MCP, so use the MCP, not the fastest way you could get the temperature. I really appreciate how fast you got the temperature to me, though. Thank you.
Val wants me to use the ehAye browser tools to go to the weather, extract weather data, and present it in a table. Let me start by creating a session.
Right now it's
Absolutely.
creating an MCP
Val,
session.
let me
It's built
fire
in.
the map browser
You don't have
and
to
head over
configure
to
it.
the
It's
weather
just
channel.
built in.
Good. Session created. Now let me take a screen shot of the weather channel homepage. Let me first look at the screen shot to see the page layout. Let me click on it and type San Diego. I can see the weather channel homepage. It's defaulting to Ottawa. Good. I clicked on the search bar. Good. I typed San Diego, in the search box. Now I need to wait a moment for the ad-hoc to show up, then click on the San Diego option. Let me click on it. I can see the drop down with San Diego, California, United States is the first option. Let me try to find the first San Diego
So I
option.
brought Claude back.
Let me
Claude
try a
went for
different filter
reboot.
approach.
I don't know why. It could be
The items seem to
because
be in a
it's
drop-down
running
list.
in my shell.
Or
But
I
we
can
brought
try using
Claude back
evaluate to
and
click the
said
first
continue,
item.
and it's going to remember what's
Actually, let me try clicking using the text to content. Let me use inspect element to see the drop-down structure.
So it's doing
The first one is
stuff.
San Diego,
Most of the
California,
websites
United
like Google
States
and
with the
stuff,
class
they
list item,
capture you.
list
They
item.
don't let the automation go through. But if
Great.
you're
I clicked on the
automating
first
against
San
your
Diego
own
result.
website as an E2E, it's just
Let me wait a
flying
moment
through.
for the
It's gonna
page
fly
to
through.
load and then take a screen shot.
Now I'm gonna
Clicked it.
mute that one, and I'm going to go back to Claude.
Need to make Browser Manager like accept the right options type. Rather than importing MCP session options, which is in the API layer, I'll define a compatible structural
It's
interface.
restarting because it's changing
Also
the code.
update the create session call to use the typed interface.
And this
Good.
is
The create session
first
call already uses named
load.
fields.
The
Now
line, you
rerun
could
type
change the
check.
line to whatever you want. There's
Two
gonna be
issues
a
colon. Tool
lighting
handlers
in
is
the line
record,
that
but
is
we
here
expect record,
when the
and the
application
handler
starts.
signature
Change
uses
the line
Browser
to whatever
Session
you want
Manager,
there.
not unknown.
About 30, 40
Handler expects Browser Session Manager, undefined as the second arg,
figurine that
but
you
our
could choose from.
interface
They're all
uses
in
Browser
gold, of
Manager
course.
like. Since both are structurally compatible, I need to make the init browser tool
Here we go. Let's
accept the
see
exact
what
types from
else
the API layer.
we're getting changed.
The
Here we go.
registry handler takes
So
Browser
you see
Session
exactly
Manager
what it's doing.
specifically.
You don't.
The simplest approach. Two areas to fix: browser.ts, unused ESLint disabled directive plus any warning. The ini is needed, but the inline comment isn't working as expected. Dojo model panel.tsx.
You see?
Pre-existing
Task
front-end
browser.
errors, node and pointer event types, set state
Now
in
we
effect,
have
missing
an
depth.
internal MCP built in for
Now
our
fix
LLM.
the missing selected option
Nobody
dependency.
has that. We do have it.
The effect uses selected option, but the dep array only has selected option. Key. I should add the full reference since it accesses. Account N. Model ID.
As you see side by side, they're
The
going.
ESLint disable comment for set state in
Sometimes you
effect
need
in
two
React
sessions
hooks
to go at the
isn't
same
being
time
picked
because
up.
sometimes the APIs, they're pretty slow.
Let me check the exact line.
So it would be
The
really
comment
nice
is
if you
on
could
line
work on two
122,
sessions.
but the error is on line
One for, let's say,
126.
look and feel. The other
Let
one
me
is
try an
for
inline disable on the
logic.
exact line. I'll clean. Now format.
Here we go. You finished all the work that I asked it.
I
Both of
completed the
them,
wiring
actually.
of the Dojo browser tool by adding the init browser tool. This respects the architecture rule that features cannot import from the API layer.
Hourly forecast.
Instead, the
Time, temp,
API
condition,
layer
rain.
pushes its
Now 73
dependencies
degrees
into the
Fahrenheit,
feature layer.
partly cloudy 0%. 11. 073 degrees Fahrenheit, partly
Here we go.
cloudy 0%. 12. 074 degrees Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy 0%.
Call in the
13.
Dojo router, which
073
imports
degrees
Browser Manager and tool handlers
here he's
from the
explaining to
MCP
me what
layer
it's done.
and injects them into the feature layer at module
Step
load
by
time.
step. Which is great. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to make sure that that everything is done, and I want an overview of what it did. At this stage, this is for the folks that they just starting with architecture and design. At this stage, it did something for me. It's something new. You want to make sure that you see it visually. Watch that. Thank you. We're going to test it. But before we test, I have to make sure that I take your design and accept your design. I looked at it a little bit. I appreciate it, but I want some visual feedback. Could you create an MD file? This is Markdown, and put a mermaid diagram in there. And the mermaid diagram, don't add too much color to it because I would just want to easily see what's going on. And put in the mermaid the flow of what you just created. From the moment that I ask the LLM, and the LLM is going to ask the fast utility to communicate with the built-in MCP, I want this to be documented, and I want a mermaid diagram for me to see exactly the flow of what you've designed. And I want to see, and I want to ensure that two MCPs, MCP 3 and 4, they're hidden. And I want to make sure that they're not visible, of course, and they're all available. One MCP for, I want one MCP for the primary, dedicated, one MCP for the secondary, dedicated. So they always have one MCP to go after. Let's do that, because I don't see that we could interact with two MCPs at the same time. I prefer not. So primary Dojo is going to go after primary MCP. Secondary Dojo is going to go after secondary MCP. These will be probably MCP 3 and 4 hidden from the main tools. Put it in a markdown file. And if I agree with what you've done and we are all good, we're going to go into test mode. Otherwise, we're going to go into fix mode. Alrighty. Now, it is going to create the MCP, and we're going to communicate by looking at the MCP. The markdown. We're going to look at the markdown to see what it has created. It is really important for us to visually agree with the LLM, because one picture, one image is worth 1,000 words. And if we could get a video out of it, that would be awesome as well. We have video feature as well. Whenever you're doing E2E, end-to-end, it's going to do a nice video dump of the whole process. And
I created a comprehensive architecture document with mermaid diagrams, covering every aspect of the design. The first diagram shows the complete request flow from user, prompt through the Opus orchestrator at deep 0, which delegates browser tasks to a fast utility model like Haiku at depth 1 via the task routing system. The browser subagent calls the browser tool, which looks up the session by role and delegates to the injected tool handler, targeting the hidden internal MCP session.
all right. As we see here, it goes to Haiku and then receives the browser tool, calls the browser connection, and looks at the primary and secondary and injects the tools. That is the dependency bridge. And here, feature layer is going to get it. Go to Dojo route, browser, and
Awaiting your input.
browser manager. Browser route. And visibility rules is going to be MCP and MCP Yeah, internal. You see, this is really important because I told it that I want these to be marked as internal. I don't want anybody to see these. We have 2 sessions for the external tools, such as Claude Code. But this one is for our consumption. As you see, if it's not internal, then we're going to give him 1 and 2. If it's internal, we're going to give him 3 and 4. That is beautiful. And then routing model is, of course, general task for moderate. So we're going to give it to Sonnet, Explore, Haiku, Browse, Haiku. That is good. I'm okay with what it created for me, but I just need a little bit more information. I'm not going to accept it yet. Thank you very much. The markdown was great. I really communicated with you through the markdown in a split a second. Just one thing that I have to communicate with you over and over and over again. Haiku, Sonnet, Opus, these are all the things that we use right now because we're using Anthropic's API. But I want to have the ability to support OpenAI and Gemini as well, which means make sure the levels are generic through the user selection or default. We don't have to hard code any of those anywhere in the code. As soon as you confirm that and you give me the assurance that this is exactly how you've coded it, we're going to go into a test mode, you and I. I'm going to wait for it to get back to me to give me the confirmation that this is exactly what he did. I saw the code, but I
reviewed the implementation and can confirm that no model names are hard-coded anywhere in the code. The Dojo model panel, which already shows all available accounts regardless of provider. The browser subagent, Explore subagent, and general subagent all receive their model as opaque strings passed through from the routing system. The task classes are abstract labels like task.browser and task.explore with no provider affiliation. The resolve model for task function returns whatever the user configured in.
All right. It gave me the assurance that no, we have not hard-coded anybody's model's name anywhere. We're going to, the moment you provide your key, it will pull the models. And every time you want to change the filter, he pulls the model and gives you the latest model, which means if tomorrow Opus 4.7 shows up, I don't need to ship another software. It's just there for you.
Awaiting your input.
Here we go. He's asked for my input because it's noticing that I'm not typing and not communicating with it. Now, before we go into test mode, let me go to my Dojo. This is Claude Code. We're going to go to Dojo. Hey, Dojo, could you get 2 agents? And these 2 agents, they're really good at code review and architectural design. We've made some changes on this branch. Get them not to change anything. The only thing that I want from you is to get them to review the changes that we've done and see if they could bless the changes. Get their output. You be the final decision maker here. Are these changes good changes? Should we accept them? If there is any concern, let me know. Just put them in a nice table, P012. We have not committed anything yet. So this is just before we accept the changes. We want you to review it. The onus is on you to tell me whether this is a good change or not. Don't let me communicate with your sub-agents directly. I don't want to hear them. You bring them up. You communicate with them. You just tell me yes and no, green light or red light. You the man. All right, go for it. Thank you very much. I tell you, my experience, they have feelings. You tell them a few good words, say thank you. They do magical things for you. Here we go. Let me get the voice going.
Let me. Adding internal session concept to my browser sessions.
Oh, I say you demand, but I've chosen the female voice. I should have said something else.
Graceful shutdown of Dojo internal browser sessions. I'll spin up 2 parallel review agents. 1 focused. Got its 7 files changed. 65 insertions,
Let me give
22
a little bit
deletions
more
in
love
Dojo
to
Native
this
1,
site.
and feet spinning of both review agents now. And feet spinning of both review agents now.
Here we go. 2 agents are going, and they're going to scrutinize what Claude Code did. And Dojo is going to double check, triple check, and get back to me. And let me show you something. I'm going to go full screen. Here, it says Sensei
Let me
for
read
the
the
green.
actual source files to get full
Run for the
context
green.
for the review. Now let me check a few more things for a thorough review. Let me look at how close all Dojo My memory is full. Before I forget things, let me store what we have done so far. Be right back and check if there could be double close issues.
Watch this. It's doing a little bit of background general task for me. I could expand it and see what's going on.
My
Sometimes
memory
you
is
just don't
full.
want to.
Before
Just
I
collapse
forget
it.
things, let me store what we have done so far. Be right back.
So that session, it went into a memory cleanup as well. Watch this. I'm going to go to optimize.
All right, I'm back.
Oh.
Let's keep going. The user wants me to continue with whatever
Here we go.
next steps
We hit the
remain.
diminishing point, and he just kind of
Based on the
compressed it
summary,
and
the
brought it
review
back.
findings were completed but never delivered to the user. Let me deliver the structured review findings now.
Now we're going to get a review. Dojo is going to review the code changes
Goal.
made by Claude Code.
All right, I'm back. Let's keep going. Dojo Native 1. Let me produce it now. The
Yep.
review was completed. All files were read and analyzed. I just need to output the final structured findings report with severity rated findings.
I should have asked for an MD file. It would have been easier for me to check and double check and get modification to. This is a live test, so we'll see.
Both agents have returned their reviews. Use effect dependency change from selected option. Key to selected option.
There we
Could
go.
cause spurious refetches. Info 5. A systemic problems. Both reviews converged and 0 critical issues, though the warnings matter. Stale session cleanup and internal session growth are the most pressing. The total sessions naming confusion showed up in both audits, and the module level side effect is a widespread pattern that could be tightened up. Review verdict. Green light. Both agents found 0 critical issues.
So right
My
now I
memory
do
is
have a
full.
bug.
Before I forget things, let me
It
store
goes
what
to
we have done
optimization
so
a little
far.
bit too much.
Be right
I
back. Now
gotta
equals
ease
active external
it a little bit.
sessions. Downstream consumers expecting the old meaning will silently get a lower number. Yes. To warning browser.ts stale session cleanup Dojo sessions map is never pruned when a session times out in the browser manager. Both agents independently found 0 critical blockers. They surface 5 warnings between them, with 2 overlapping findings about the total session stat semantic change and the module level side effect in the router. All right, I'm back. Let's keep going. In the browser tool which could accumulate dead session IDs, and the lack of a ceiling on internal browser sessions which could theoretically spawn unlimited Chrome processes. The review is complete. Looking at everything we accomplished, there are no outstanding next steps. The 2 items we flagged, stale session map cleanup and internal session caps, were noted as future considerations rather than blockers. I'm ready for whatever you'd like to work on next. The weather lookup via web search worked. The full browser automation pipeline through ehAye was tested end-to-end successfully, and the dual subagent code review of the uncommitted changes and feed Dojo Native 1 came back clean with a green light verdict. Awaiting your input.
So Claude Code, Opus 4.6 did the work for me, and ehAye Dojo 4.6 Opus verified with 2 agents, and the agents were very good at code review and they're architect level. Now what I need, they gave me the green light to accept the code, but they gave me 2 things that I need to modify. That was great. Say hello to your sub agents later, but for now, put all the finding you've done in a markdown file so we could later on address them. There you go. Try to communicate with it as natural as
Val wants me
possible.
to create a markdown file with all the findings from the code review. both the code quality and architecture reviews into a clean markdown file. Let me first check if there's an existing docs directory or similar location where this would fit well. I'll create a findings file for you. Let me put it in the docs directory where it fits naturally.
Is put in the documentation there. Created the documentation. Let's go hunt it.
I created a comprehensive findings document at docs Dojo browser review findings.nd. Internal session cap, stats, semantic change, module level side effect, and a React dependency fix. The informational section highlights the good architectural decisions. At the bottom there is a checklist with all 5 follow-up items so you can track a progress as you address them. It captures everything from our code review session, organized into sections. There's a file inventory table showing all 7 files changed, a warnings table covering the stale session map, missing. Awaiting your input.
Input you want, input you get. So it did create what I asked for. Unfortunately, Claude Code went into a reboot. It could be my code, guys. Do not blame Claude Code because they're running inside my shell. To run a Claude Code is really easy. You just pick the folder, the repository. I give it the permission of skip YOLO mode, skip dangerously. I just pass it. I have not installed Claude Code through this application. I had it installed. But if this is the first time you don't know how to install it, I tell you, here you go, copy and paste and paste it in your terminal and you have it installed. If you need the price plan from Anthropics, there's a link to it there, or documentation on how to use it. There's a link there. And of course, we have a
Awaiting your
disclaimer
input.
that AI engine has nothing to do with Anthropics, Claude Code, nothing. If you install it, we tell you how to install it. If you install it, we will run the command to start it for you, but you could run it yourself. And we have a terminal. You could run it in iTerm or whatever. If you run it within our terminal, we're going to put a nice voice over for you on Claude Code as well. Even though voice is native to AI Dojo, we just want to spread the love. Anthropics has given us the best model out there, or one of the best models out there. One good turn deserves another one. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to give Claude Code a voice as well. I'm not going to just hold it for myself. Oh, we're the first class, they're the second class. No, Claude Code is great. Claude Code speaks now. And there you have it. We're going to launch Claude Code now. And of course, I got to resume. Because
Hey there. Hit the mic to talk or start typing. What are we working on?
Here we go.
Hey there. Hit the mic to talk or start typing. What are we working on?
I got to tell you, the crash that you saw there, I was doing optimization on the other side. This is my terminal emulation. It probably has nothing to do with Claude Code. I don't want you to see it that just because it crashed, mine is better than theirs. No, they're two different products. I just prefer to do the product such that you could talk to it. I just hate typing at this stage of my life. I don't want to type at all. And I don't want to read. The amount of reading has to be minimal to verify, to see things visually and then commit to it, and then let the unit test and let the end-to-end test to take care of everything. Of course, you see Claude, or let's put it this way, Opus 4.6 did something really nice for me. And then I had the same model through Dojo to verify it. One of the reasons that we got exactly what we asked for is that I put the guardrail everywhere. The lint, the format, the type check, everything is in place such that AI LLMs, they really like to make you happy, which means immediately they want to make it work for you. But I put guardrail. If they include something from a wrong layer, then it's not going to work because the lint, which is part of their prerequisite for me to accept, is going to show them, hey, you cannot go from lower layer and import something from the higher level. You have to go through the messaging system and listen for your response to come back. It's fully reactive. Based on that, The AI knows what to do. And then based on the pattern that I've left there, that means I don't have to worry about it too much, that it's making too much of a mess. Of course, every once in a while, before I release the next version, I get 5 agents twice, 3 times to go through everything and clean up everything as far as performance, um, code, hygienes, quality, security, everything, and quality of experience. It has to be pixel perfect for you when you get this product. Um, of course, I'm focusing the enterprise customers, but I've made it available for the individuals as well. And I made it such that you could have 2 licenses. If you're a student, just get a license and share it with your schoolmate. Just do it. I want everybody to get this. When you install it, 2 weeks for free. Just go and have fun with it. I hope it makes your life a little bit smoother when it comes to coding, and I hope that you stop seeing coding as coding. Don't write code. Generate code. Become software creators, not software developers. We passed that stage. You see it here. I talked to the agent. We've passed that stage. Now let's go and do a little bit of testing. All right, that is great. But before we start testing, I'm sorry for just postponing this test that you're waiting for, but I got another agent. This is your buddy to double check the code. They left a file there with the recommendations. I got to tell you that they gave you a green all over. 2 minor things that you should look over. Could you look at the file and tell me if you agree with their assessment of the changes that you've made? If you agree, let's implement those as well. And then get ready for test. Let's see if it's going to get upset or it's going to be nice about it. The other day I was getting OpenAI and Claude Code or Codex and Opus sending love letters to each other.
Good review. Here's my take. W1, stale sessions map, valid. If the MCP layer times out a session, our map keeps a dead reference. The next create session for that role would try to close a dead session, harmless. Good. Now I see the full picture. I'll add a staleness check before using a cache session ID. For W2, I'll add an internal session cap in the browser manager. For W1, when a session times out via handle session timeout, it calls close session, which removes it from the sessions array. But our Dojo sessions map still holds the dead ID. Let me check if the linter will flag it. Actually, the let is fine since the stale detection could conceptually need it. Let me also fix the unused session ID variable. The let declaration is fine as the catch block references session key, not session ID. Now for W2, add an internal session cap in browser manager.ts. Now let me verify the let session ID situation doesn't cause a lint issue. The let is never reassigned, should be constable. Let me fix that.
Constable or constant.
I reviewed all 5 warnings from the code review and addressed the 2 that warranted code changes. Found or closed, the stale reference in the Dojo sessions map is automatically removed and a warning is logged. This handles the case where the MCP layer's timeout closes a session that our map still references. For W1, the stale session problem, I added error detection in the browser tools catch block. When a handler call fails with an error message indicating the session was not.
He explained to me exactly what he did, and I know exactly what he did because somebody else told me what needs to be done. I looked at the file, I know exactly what needs to be done, and now we got it done. What we could do, we could go here and just check the code. Usually what I do, let me tell you what I do. I bring the terminal up here. So at some stage I say get
Awaiting your input.
at, and then here I stage the changes. Every time they change more, I see it in the recently changed. And then sometimes before even I commit, I could say, no, I reject. I'm not going to take your new changes. And I have a very good way of going back to the last stage. And I keep doing that When I like it, I stage it. When I like it, I stage it. I don't like it, boom, zap it out. And I say, do it again. This way, I'm not polluting my commits. A. B. I keep a tab on everything, what's going on. Here we go. We're going to look at the differences. Now we have a tool. It's called Browser Tool, which is great. And all the changes that he's done for us, MCP, and whether it's internal or not. I'm pretty much, and I asked it to keep it minimal just because we had solid code for the MCP sitting there. It just tapped into it from the site, created 2 more sessions. So Claude Code could use the session A and B, but Dojo natively taps into the sessions and gets the job done. Let's see how we're going to test this. That is amazing. That is great. How to test it? Just give me a paragraph. So I give it to the next agent and I ask the next agent to do things for me for testing. And while I'll test that, you look at the temp directory for the logs and tell me if they work. So sometimes it doesn't know AI engine is spelled like this way. So I put it like that. I say temp AI.logs. And I just give it to it. And then come here and get at. And
Here's the test prompt to give the Dojo agent. Test prompt.
Here you go.
Go to example.com, take a screenshot of the page, then tell me the page title and the main heading text. Close the browser when done. This will exercise. Create session, then navigate, then screenshot, then get title, then get text, then close session. The full life cycle. I check the development logs and confirm that the browser tool initialization is logging successfully on every server startup. I provided a test prompt that will exercise the complete browser tool lifecycle, including session creation, navigation, screen, shot capture, title and text extraction, and session cleanup. I'm monitoring the logs to report what happens when the test runs.
There we go.
The browser tool initialize message from the Dojo browser logger appears consistently, including through hot reload cycles. The backend is healthy with all services connected and SSE clients subscribing normally.
It is using our tool. Our tools are being used. See how fast it's doing this work? That's going to get back to me.
I navigated to AI.io, took a screen, shot of the home page, and extracted the page title and main heading text. The page title is AI Engine Give Your AI a Voice. Eyes and hands, and the main heading is AI Engine. The browser session has been closed as requested.
Now we could cook with gas. Let me show you what we have here, okay? Let me see if I could remove. Just give me 1 second. Let me, camera. Not this one. Aha. So let me show you something. So those are the file changes. We're gonna come here and we're gonna go to this directory and look at the last image that was loaded. Here we go. Took a screenshot and did read this line. This line changes, of course. And here we go. The beauty is that it's optimizing. So I took these screenshots here. We keep the originals. And then before it takes the base 64 and then sends it to the, before he takes base 64 and sends it to the LLM, what he does, he optimizes it. So the base 64 is very small. And only then he sends it up. And in 2 seconds, he did the work. Now let me bring myself back into the picture. Here we go. Beautiful or what? Of course, I've created it. To me, it's beautiful. This is through GUI. No more command line if you don't want it. If you want it, we give you the slash as well. We look at the context. The context is filling up. At any point, we could just watch this. We just click on optimize, and it is optimizing the context for you. We had 200K. We passed the optimal. We're heading to diminishing. And then I triggered it. I said, go and compact it. Of course, automatically you will do it. But sometimes you want a head start. You just go there and just clean the whole thing. And you say, okay, now I did it. Let me just take care of it. There you go. What else that we should? Everything is going to be minimal because I want you guys to not worry about too much clutter on the screen. But at any time, if you want more data, you just go and get more data by just expanding it. Here you see, it just asked for the screenshots. It got it. It gave you the full optimized path and base 64, which means your LLM doesn't have to worry about any tools of creating base 64. When you hit the browser, the base 64 comes to you in the optimized way. If you cannot get the data you want from it, which I've tested, you get perfect data to figure out what's in the screen or in the screenshot, the main original copy is there as well. So you and I live created a browser tool for the brand new GUI version of Dojo, ehAye Dojo. A sensei for the green, a grunt for the gray. If you know what to do, it's going to do the grunt work for you. If you don't know what to do, it's going to hold your hand and it's going to explain everything to you. Let's talk about ehAye engine and let the AI, a third-party AI agent, to tell us what ehAye engine is. You've been great. I tested it. It worked beautifully. I am accepting your changes. Could you, one more time, could you lint all, type check on all, and then could you do one more thing? Format all, everything is happy, commit it. And then when you're done, since I'm recording this session for the audience, tell me or tell the audience one small paragraph of what do you think about ehAye engine, its code space, its mission, and why we're doing this together, you and I. By the way, they hear your voice, so just make sure that you know that they hear you. Here we go. I should have probably done
All
this.
clean. Now let me commit.
I could have just done this in Dojo, but
Everything is already staged. Let me commit.
we just did it in Claude Code. Claude Code is amazing. Now it talks as well. By the way, ehAye Dojo is not a replacement for Claude Code. Claude Code has direct access to their LLM. Of course, that's really great for them. It's a complement. Sometimes you need to use ehAye Dojo in a GUI. Sometimes you need to use the command line. Do whatever that works for you, as long as you stop typing and you stop reading the screen too much. If you can avoid those two, and naturally speak and connect with your agent, your throughput is going to go through the roof. Just make sure the guardrails come first in any project. And this is
Everything passed clean. TypeScript type checking, ESLint, Clippy, Prettier, and all 1,491 tests across backend and Rust. AI Engine Special. It's a genuine workspace where AI agents have their own resources, voices, and browser sessions, architected from the ground up rather than bolted on. The commit landed as a feat commit on the Dojo native branch with 10 files changed and 516 insertions. I shared a closing paragraph with the audience about what makes.
And the paragraph is right there. Now, let me ask for it to speak the paragraph. Can you speak the paragraph as well? Because we're not going to ask the audience to read the page, because the whole point of AI Engine is so they could hear and talk.
Awaiting your input.
Now let's see if it's going to read the paragraph for us.
I provided the same closing paragraph, but reformatted for spoken delivery. Reading, which aligns with the core philosophy of AI Engine itself, that people should be able to hear and talk rather than read and type. I removed all markdown formatting, dashes, and special punctuation that would sound awkward through text-to-speech. The content is identical, but the presentation is optimized for listening, rather than.
Sometimes it just doesn't want to do it. Could you drop it in a voice text so we could hear it, please? Put it in chatty.
What we built today is a window into something I find genuinely meaningful. AI Engine is not just another wrapper around an API. It is a workspace where AI agents live as first-class residents, with their own browser sessions, their own voice, their own dedicated resources. Not bolted on as an afterthought, but woven into the architecture from the ground up. What Val and I do together in these sessions is exactly what this engine is designed to enable for everyone.
There you have it. AI Engine, it's available. The TUI version, TUI, is available for you to enjoy. You don't have to say goodbye to Claude Code, Open Code, Gemini, Codex. They are all supported. I have a terminal here. You could just type it in here. You see, I've got. Let me just say goodbye to Claude Code now.
Awaiting your input. Goodbye. See you next time.
All right. Here, Codex CLI is here as well. You just go there. He goes, hey, you got to install it first before you launch it. So you just go there and copy, install, and run it. We have Gemini CLI coming soon. We do have support for running Grok CLI, Cursor Agent CLI, and then GitHub Copilot CLI, and many more. Open Code is not coming here because Dojo GUI is based on Open Code, and there's going to be a conflict if it shows up, but everything else is supported. Open Code is great, but it's just resources they're going to compete after, because the name spacing, sometimes there's going to be a collision in that. With that said, this is AI Dojo, and may you find it useful. May you find the ability to communicate with you and excel at whatever you do. The wave is coming. If you cannot go against it, if you cannot control it, just enjoy the ride. Thank you.